A 9-year-old grandson gets a hole-in-one. PGA Superstore has been eyeing the Villages. They will be opening their new store soon. Grand opening date for a new restaurant at Spanish Springs has been announced. Villagers are asked to cut back on their water usage as the aquifer levels drop. An unlicensed driver from Mexico has been arrested at Middleton. A villager was jailed after her Mustang landed in the middle of a roundabout. A bicyclist who claimed to be hit by a golf cart is now facing burglary charges. A New Jersey man has been arrested in theft case at local Home Depot. A mother turns over her son's iPhone with more than 300 images of child porn. Letters to the editor. Bad parking in the Villages. How many holes-in-ones do we get this week? This and more. Coming up. This week's news is brought to you by my Patreon and YouTube members. Thanks, guys. A villager in a golf cart was arrested on a drunk driving charge at Lake Sumter Landing. David Clifford Roach, 71, of the village of Virginia Trace, was seen staggering to his golf cart Thursday night, according to an arrest report. He was unsteady on his feet and appeared to be confused. The Pennsylvania native got into the golf cart, backed it out, and began to travel. He failed to come to a complete stop at the red flashing light at Old Mill Run and Canal Street, prompting a traffic stop. That's pretty common there. People roll stop all the time, which, Roach's eyes were bloodshot and watery, and when he spoke to the deputy, a distinct odor of alcoholic beverage came from his breath. Roach admitted he had consumed 2 drinks, which he described as a couple of wines. When the deputy invited Roach to participate in field sobriety exercises, he told the deputy, "Just take me away." Roach also called the deputy a prick, became aggressive. Oh, gosh. Roach struggled through the exercises and refused to perform the walk and turn exercise. He provided breath samples that registered .111 and .106 blood alcohol content. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. A villager on a pre-Christmas shopping spree allegedly stole $891 worth of merchandise at Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages. Winifred Jane Del Grosso, 79, of the village of Bonnybrook, was at the store on Saturday when she loaded a shopping cart with more than 100 items, including champagne, beer, high noon hard seltzer, organic raspberries, ribeye steak, sweet peppers, celestial tea, tortillas, cutlery, and pajamas, according to the arrest report. She pushed the shopping cart out of the store's doors without making an attempt to pay for the merchandise. The incident was captured on surveillance. A deputy investigating the incident found that the New York native had no prior history of theft. Del Grosso was arrested on a felony charge of grand theft. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,000 bond. Sounds like a heck of a party. Here's an update on the story we done last week. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll just show you the picture and bring you up to date. Details are emerging about an arrest on a child pornography charges of a 25-year-old man living with his parents in the Villages. Jared Thomas Rourke, 25, who lives at 1874 Keel Court in the village of Newell, is facing numerous charges of possession of child pornography after his mother handed over his iPhone, which held more than 300 images depicting child pornography, including those of children under the age of 5 involving in disturbing sexual situations. I'm not going to read anymore because I just find it disgusting that mom and dad protects these children in a retirement community. But mom did turn it over. Give credit where credit's due. A New Jersey man was arrested in a theft case at a local Home Depot. Frank Michael Killabat, 60, of Newark, New Jersey, was stopped by a loss prevention officer on Thursday at Home Depot, according to the arrest report. The loss prevention officer had watched as Killabat selected items including saw blades, cutting pliers, and drill bits and concealed them in his clothing. He attempted to leave the store without paying for the merchandise, which had a total value of $143.28. A police officer arrived on the scene and ran a criminal history check, which revealed that Killabat had previous theft convictions from 1988 and 2022. Killabat was arrested on a felony charge of theft. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $2,000 bond. A villager was transferred to the Lake County Jail on Tuesday for violating his probation in connection with his conviction for harassing his estranged lady friend. Gary Thomas Wilcox, 62, has been held without bond following his transfer from the Sumter County Detention Center. Wilcox was arrested in October at his home where he was tasered by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies. Wilcox had locked himself in his bedroom and stacked furniture against the door in an attempt to prevent deputies from taking him into custody. That always works. On December 19th, he was sentenced to 50 days in jail as a result of that arrest. That time had already been served. At the time of that arrest, the Connecticut native was already on probation as the result of showing up at his ex-girlfriend's home at about 1 a.m. December 17th, 2021. She heard pounding noises and found him sitting in a chair in her sunroom. He said he became angry and pushed her into a lampstand. He had gained access to the sunroom by cutting the screen. She told law enforcement that she knows Gary Thompson Wilcox's anger and she fears for her life. She obtained an injunction against him, but she received multiple phone calls from Wilcox telling her to drop it. Drop the injunction and don't call the cops, he said in a message. She played for law enforcement. He's going to say, ladies, don't fall for these guys. Here's another update. I've been accused on that video of making a comment that I didn't know was true or not true. I give my own personal comments about things. This guy was on our golf cart trails. Yes, I still call them golf cart trails. On a bicycle. He claimed he got hit by somebody in a golf cart and left this guy. And this guy was blooded up pretty good. As a matter of fact, in this picture, you'll see on his, I think it'd be his left eye, where he's still healing up. I made a statement saying, this guy's from Wildwood. He doesn't even live in the villages. He should not even be on our golf cart trail on a bicycle, but nobody monitors this. These are not public golf cart trails, except for those that you share the road with a car. The rest of the golf cart trails is private. We pay for the maintenance of these things. This guy doesn't live here. He should not have even been on that golf cart trail. And then I said, looks like he was probably up to no good anyway. And I got retribution about that. Let's bring you up to date. A bicyclist who claimed he was hit by a golf cart in November in the Villages is now facing an unrelated burglary charge. David Paul Ukeel, 52 of Wildwood, was arrested Wednesday on charges of burglary and possession of drug equipment after he was found at a mobile home from which he had been previously banned, according to the arrest report. When he was spotted at the mobile home, Ukeel claimed he had gone there to retrieve a tarp. The deputy who found Ukeel at the property found that the property owner on October 8 had formerly trespassed Bukeel. The property owner said he wished to prosecute Bukeel for returning to the property without permission. Bukeel was found to be in possession of a cut straw with the residue that tested positive for methamphetamine. In November, Bukeel claimed he had been the victim of a hit-and-run accident. He said he had been riding a bicycle near the entrance of the village of Richmond when he was struck by a golf cart that fled the scene. Law enforcement concluded the hit-and-run claim was unfounded and closed the case. So maybe there was no golf cart involved. After the accident, Bukil launched a GoFundMe page for a campaign that raised $3,720. That's another thing, people. These GoFundMe things, make sure they're legit. Drug addicts and everything else put on a sob story. They put on a picture that you don't even know is real or not, and people just give them money, and they take that money and, generally speaking, buy more drugs. As a result of Wednesday's arrest, Bukil is facing charges of burglary and possession of drug equipment. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center on an $11,000 bond. How about checking out that GoFundMe page, Judge, and maybe bring him up on charges for defrauding people? A villager was jailed after her Ford Mustang landed in the middle of a roundabout. A Sumter County Sheriff's deputy was on patrol when he was flagged down shortly before 10 p.m. Wednesday at the roundabout at Buena Vista Boulevard and El Camino Real. That's up by Spanish Springs and real close to the village's hospital. The two men who had flagged down the deputy directed his attention to a black 2017 Ford Mustang stuck in the foliage in the center of the roundabout. The vehicle's rear bumper was detached and sitting on the east end of the roundabout in the roadway. The driver of the Mustang, later identified as 64-year-old Phyllis Marie Hoffman of the village of Bel Air, was attempting to accelerate out of the foliage as the deputy approached the driver's side window. Hoffman told the deputy she was returning home after leaving the Moose Lodge in Leesburg. Her speech was slurred and she appeared to be disoriented. The Springfield, Illinois native could not walk alone without maintaining her balance. Her poor performance in field sobriety exercises led the deputy to conclude she had been driving impaired. Hoffman agreed to submit to a breath test but failed to provide a valid sample. She was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, and there's no mention of a bond, so I don't know. An unlicensed driver from Mexico was arrested after a traffic stop at Middleton. Augusto Medina Malpica, 52, was driving a white Ford SUV at about 1 p.m. Wednesday on Marsh Bend Trail when an officer noticed the vehicle's driver's side rearview mirror was missing. Malpica, who was identified by his Mexican consulate card, claimed he has been in Florida more than 20 years and admitted he does not have a driver's license. The officer issued Malpica a citation and warned him not to drive, to get a ride home and have the vehicle towed, or have a licensed driver drive it home for him. About 2 hours later, the officer spotted the same Ford SUV traveling southbound on Marsh Bend Trail near Central Parkway. A traffic stop was initiated in Middleton, a new family community in the villages and home to the new charter school campus. This time, the native of Veracruz, Mexico, was arrested on a charge of driving without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. A drunk driving suspect refused to provide a breath sample after a crash in the villages. Tanuja Hall, 53, of the village of Caroline, was found at about 11:30 p.m. Thursday at the wheel of a vehicle that had been involved in a crash in the Bainbridge Villas in the village of Hadley. It appeared the Michigan native had been drinking, according to the arrest report. The deputy announced he would be conducting a criminal investigation into the possible driving under the influence. Interesting, Hall responded. Oh, guys, that's funny. She was invited to participate in field sobriety exercises and initially said she would. However, she began second-guessing her decision, and there was a 9-minute pause. She then told the deputy she would not be taking part in the exercises. She also refused to provide breath samples. She was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. Villagers are being asked to cut back on water usage as the aquifer levels is down from 1 year ago. The Southwest Florida Water Management District has declared a modified phase in water shortage. It will be in effect through July 1. In Sumter County, even number addresses can water before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. on Thursday and or before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. on Sundays. Odd numbered addresses can water before 10 a.m. on Wednesday and or before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. on Saturdays. For a complete guide to watering in the villages, check out the following link: www.villageswaterwisdom.com/irrigation-schedules. I'll put that in a video if I can. A grand opening date has been announced for a new restaurant at Spanish Springs Town Square. Bella Vita Italian Steakhouse will celebrate its grand opening on Monday, January 8th. Pause. I've been told by many people, now I'm not a restaurateur critic in any way, that there is no such thing as an Italian steak. Thus, I guess there's no such thing as an Italian steakhouse. It just sounds good. Or maybe it's just a combination of the two. You can get spaghetti or a T-bone. I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I think it sounds weird. The new restaurant located at 1101 Main Street is operated by FMK Restaurant Group, of course, which runs the Chop House at Lake Sumter Landing, Bluefin Grill and Bar at Brownwood, Costa Del Mar in Spanish Springs, and several country clubs, almost all of them anymore. A downtown eatery will offer an outdoor bar, a popular feature at all the squares in the villages. Yeah, that corner right there, as far as I'm concerned, my personal opinion, when we came to the villages first, Spanish Springs was all there was. There was nothing else. And that corner right there had Augustine's restaurant in it, just called Augustine's. If you look at that picture on the far left of the building, they had their own brewery in there. They made their own beer. One of the beers they had that was very enjoyable for me was Seabolt Select. Under that building, there are lines that goes to every restaurant downtown Spanish Springs, so that the beer that they brewed in there, they could serve that beer at any place downtown Spanish Springs, and of course, they got paid for it over here. It was a great idea. It was an Italian restaurant, and it kind of reminds you a lot of Olive Garden, but I think it was a notch better. That's just my opinion. And we would sit out there and we would have lunch or dinner out there, and I'd drink a Seabolt Select or two, and I could go over to the I don't know what the restaurants they had at that time. I can't remember all of them. But anyway, I'd go to any of the bars or any of the restaurants around there that served alcohol, and I could get a Seabolt Select over there. Great idea. For some reason, since Augustine's left, I think it was more of a developer wanting to raise rent. This is what I've been told, that the developer was wanting to raise rent to the point that they didn't think it was worth it. So they closed their doors, took the brewery and all. And I understand they moved somewhere to Gainesville. I don't know exactly where, but that's where I heard they moved to. And ever since then, there's never been a restaurant to go in there that could make it, that stayed. It just seems to be a problem. And as far as I'm concerned, the original Augustine's was the best one going, better than anything that's been in there. PGA Superstore is coming to town. A new PGA Superstore will be opening at Lady Lake Commons in 2024, fulfilling one of the company's ambitions. The PGA Superstore is scheduled to open its doors in April or May at former home Earth Fair at the shopping center on U.S. Highway 27 and 441. Traffic nightmare right now on that highway. I don't even like going up there. The store is currently undergoing an extensive renovation. We've been looking to expand our Florida footprint to the villages for a number of years, said Megan Mahoney, PGA Superstore's Director of Communications. In addition to the largest selection of golf equipment, apparel, and accessories for men and women, we will also offer pickleball equipment and accessories. The store will be more than 30,000 square feet and will offer a putting green, 3 simulators, and 2 studio bays. Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a nice place. Well, let's do a couple of letters to the editor and see what people are thinking. Here's one here from a Florida native, not necessarily a villager. To the editor, it has been my experience that most Northerners feel they are above ordinary folks. That's weird. Do you think that all Northerners aren't ordinary folks? I am 80 years of age and a Florida native and have found most Northerners think the way they did it up north was the only way. The way they did what up north? They don't try to blend in and adjust to the Southern way of life. That's sent in by Jim King, a Florida native. Well, Jim, I don't even know what you're talking about. To the editor, they need to leave the trees. Don't do to the north side of the villages what they are doing to the south end of the villages. What ordinarily made this area so special was its charm and the beauty that the area was intermingling with nature. Greed is ruining the charm of the villages. At some point, this urban sprawl has got to stop. That's sent in by Doug Bowman from the village of Atrim Dales. Atrim Dales is one of the areas that we actually considered buying in. Some ways I wish I would have, but I didn't. I agree with you. The Spanish oak trees we have and things down here is what makes everything look so nice. If you don't believe me, just go to any area where there's a bunch of them. I'll tell you one real quick. Go down to the Finney Recreation Center down there. The whole area out there in front is all them Spanish oaks. It's a gorgeous area. And I do get kind of tired of hearing two things, basically. The removal of trees, it just kind of irks me that they can't just go around them or something. Or before you buy the property, you see the trees are there. And then the other thing that gets me is people complaining about the wildlife. They complain about the alligators. They complain about the birds. They complain about the ducks. They complain about all this wildlife. I'm sorry. They were here first. We invaded their territory. I'm not saying they've got rights, but in some ways they do. They were here first. So I don't never complain about wildlife. I'm very protective of wildlife on my property. I don't put out things that's going to kill them. And I'll tell you one, people want to put out these sticky traps for mice. It's disgusting. Those things kill anything. The little geckos get on them. They're dead. You can't get them off. Snakes get on them. They're dead. They can't get off. You know, and it's just one of them traps that kills anything and everything, and I don't like it. So anyway, thank you, Doug, for your comment. I do agree. I can't say anything bad about that. How many O's and 1 do you think we got this week? Looks like maybe 4. See what we got here. Joseph Zay of the village of Fernandina got his first hole-in-one on December 1 at the 122-yard hole number 8 at the Sarasota Executive Golf Course. Congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Joseph. Wes Brooks of the village of Collier got his 10th hole-in-one on hole number 6 at 122 yards at Mangrove Executive Golf Course. Brooks was playing with his usual foursome when he got the lucky ace. It was his 7th hole-in-one in the villages over the last 10 years. His 10th hole-in-one came 19 months after his last one. Congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Wes. A member of the Old Friends Golf Group celebrated after getting a hole-in-one here in Florida's friendliest hometown. Tom Swanson, a member of the OF Group, got the lucky ace at hole number 5 at the Silver Lake Executive Golf Course on the historic side of the villages. Congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Tom. Here's a story I thought was pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Judd Perdian, a 9-year-old grandson of village of Bradford resident Cecil Dallas, got a hole-in-one December 27th on the Clifton Cove putting course on hole number 1. Pretty cool there, Judd. Congratulations on your hole-in-one. Well, I think that's going to be it for this week's news. Kind of short and sweet, but we got there. Now, if you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, why not? All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Doesn't cost a thing. It helps my channel out just to do that. Also, those of you that want to support our channel and our efforts here at our channel, there's 2 ways to do that easily. One is become a YouTube member. It starts at 99 cents a month. Or, this is the way I really prefer, becoming a Patreon member. You can start out at only $2 a month. And with that, you're going to get a lot of different things. And you're also going to get everything commercial free. And if you hate commercials as much as I do, to me, that's well worth the $2. And with that, coming up is more Villages Bad Parking. You look and see if you can see what's wrong with this parking. See you guys on the other side. And as always, don't leave your keys in the golf cart.